All right, welcome to Not College Station, Texas. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how to train anywhere. Here comes a mountain bike. By not having any preferences. You can be anywhere by being nowhere in your mind. Look at that view. So for workout, I'm doing by heart rate, not distance. And then, because this is a lot harder than where I live, and also I made my own fuel from the pantry of the place I was living, or I'm staying, sorry. And it's, is it Coke or Dr. Pepper? Which is 150 calories, plus an electrolyte tab, and a little bit more sugar that I used to help make coffee this morning. And so I got that, and plus this, 2 of these. So I'm planning, but I'm not attached to 2 laps of this thing. All right, I'm starting down here. I'm a little concerned. I got to go over that up there. A little bit of me is I'm going around it and not directly over it, but we'll see. This is quite a hill. Not College Station. Look at that. Freaking love it. Yeah, so I used to live here a long time ago, and on occasion, see these boulders right here? People will get a boulder into their living room. When I first moved here, within a month or so, somebody had a boulder in their living room and they turned it into their coffee table, or at least part of it. So another thing I'm doing is I'm double wristing. I've got my diving watch with the timer set to back home, and that allows me to know what time it is back there. So calling work and loved ones and stuff, I know what time it is for them. And I also set the bezel when I started, so I've been going about 7-8 minutes right there. And then on the other watch, it's local time and on my GPS tracking and stuff like that. Famously done by people before watches got easier. There's a really funny picture of Fidel Castro wearing Rolexes or something on each wrist while he's visiting Russia, so he could keep track of what time it is back in Cuba. And so if you Google double wristing pictures, then you'll see people doing it today, famous people, just for ease and for fun as well. It's pretty cool. But it works. It was cool all day yesterday looking to see what time it is at home. I just look at my right wrist instead of my left because I'm in a majorly different time zone. Yeah, this is the view from hopefully almost the top. I don't think so though, but that is ocean way out there past these hills. Yeah, my calves. So I've been going about half an hour. So I know I should have drank, if I'm planning on doing 2 hours total, about a quarter of this. I'm trying to catch up a little bit. And with the deep pockets of my trail running shorts, this thing fits in my pocket, and I can run with it without it bouncing out. That is crazy. But also, what I made tastes like crap. Dr. Pepper and like a watermelon, something flavored. There's mountain lion signs everywhere. So not only not being attached to the distance, but being a little bit smarter and going by effort, heart rate, and walking the uphills as my calves start to seize up from the effort, from all the vertical, because I'm not used to it. Not caring about what things taste like, but being smarter than that. And what are the ingredients? How many calories? How much sodium? and making stuff that'll do the job. And just be glad I got that. So check that out. The watch is telling me where I've been and how to get back so I do my loop correctly, because this trail goes off all over the place, and I want to stay on track. It's really freaking cool. So something cool here, this place is full of rattlesnakes, so maybe I'll get to see one. Used to see them all the time when I lived here. And tarantulas. And of course mountain lions, as you see with the sign. One time I was hiking in a canyon and there was no more houses past where I was going, and I definitely was being followed by one, and so I just walked backwards, which is hard to do, probably for like a mile until I got to safety. It is scary. Pro tip, you want to make things easier, take the outside lane. I should be in that one over there, but I'm taking this one. The extra distance takes a percent or two off the grade, and I need it here. Wow. Let's keep going. So something cool that I saw was that I haven't seen in a while is somebody riding with a bear bell on their handlebars, but there's no bears here. But it's a lot of people on the trail because it's beautiful and it's mixed in with a little bit of suburbia here, and to let people know that you're coming up behind them. And it was this nice little jingle, jingle, jingle. It was nice. So, pretty cool. Haven't seen that in a little while. It's very popular in a lot of places and highly suggested in highly trafficked areas. And bears. So running downhill on this like crushed, fine powdered pea gravel is so freaking great. So soft on the feet and knees. There's a guy struggling up the hill. This place is very popular with e-bikes because it's so steep. Getting close to 3 miles. I'm going to do a turnaround and go back the other direction. And maybe do 9 miles. I don't know. It depends on how the calves hold up. It's a lot of work. But as I go on, I'm getting smarter about how hard it is on the calves. Be gentler on them. So we'll see. So just for safety, I've brought along with me on the trip in my pack luggage, pocket knife. It's actually pretty decent size. Needs to go into under the plane luggage, and I got something else. Oh, and yeah, later this week I'm going to be running an area that's way more urban and at weird hours, and there's homeless and a little bit more dangerous. So having a little bit of something on me isn't the worst idea. It's really lightweight, doesn't rust, it's stainless steel. But speaking of that, just for fun, a titanium spork and spoon made by Light My Fire. And that's not for running, but I just carry it just for fun, just to show you all in this video. But it gets me in the mindset of being able to eat wherever I'm at while I'm doing stuff in town and on the move. Just carry it on me and my backpack that I'm gonna have my laptop in and stuff like that. So, kind of funny, but also very handy. I was like, dude, I need a spoon. So, cool thing about being a triathlete is that while my calves are recovering from this for like 3 days or more, I can ride a bike and go swim and keep exercising and keep fit and keep on top of things. And yeah, just thought of that. So this calf work is going to definitely take some recovering from. just so y'all know, there is a way to run without using your calves so much. Just started doing it again. Is you bend your knees more and don't push off with your feet, but engage your glutes, your butt muscles, and your hamstrings, and kind of waddle a little bit, like just lower center of gravity, and try to push off more with your midfoot and your heels. And it really works. Yeah, so detaching from ego makes you able to work out anywhere as well. Being able to say that I walk the uphills and jog the flats and the downhills doesn't bother me at all. Makes this whole thing doable. It's really, really nice. Especially if there's a bathroom or something. And so many years ago, I would be like, man, I need to run the whole thing. I don't walk. That's how you injure yourself. Let's see what's going on here. This is also a really good reminder if I bike out here later this week. Next weekend is the plan. And if I bike out here, this is how steep it is and loose. And to be ready, be using the brakes. Make sure the brakes work. It's a little wild. Another thing that's funny is being on a different time zone than my host. I get up and making breakfast on my own, trying to figure out what's there, and reminds me of the whole thing with Gen X kids. Figured we're the last generation that had were feral. I just had to figure everything out. So I'm like, okay, death wish coffee. Sounds strong. Maybe I need to not drink as much coffee this morning. Tastes great though. But then look at it, and it's just a little bit above medium brewing. And then what else? Some cereal. I usually drink like 2% milk, so whole milk. And I'm like, I'll make it work, figure it all out. Yeah. And it's fun trying to figure all that stuff out. Check out that mountain range over there. We used to live at the foot of those mountains right there. And all these trails and stuff right over here. That's the mountain range I was telling you that we saw a fire coming over the top, and we were on these hills over here watching it on fire as we were just hanging out in the driveway, coming our way. All right, that's some of the hillside without all the streets. We're on the raw side right there. Got to go up that trail up there, around that curve. Power walking the uphills. All right, 6 miles in, and I'm definitely going to do another lap. The downhills and the flats are just amazing. The temperature is amazing. And it's just the uphills that are working me. I didn't bike yesterday at all, and usually I do. I had a complete day off and overate a little bit, so I got tons of energy. And this is shorter in distance than my usual long run, but it's way more hilly. Way more hilly. So I think I'm gonna go the extra lap here. It's also interesting how much easier it is to run when it's not a billion freaking degrees. It's kind of humid here, sort of. Up close to the ocean, but yeah, it's nice. So let's get in another lap. See if we can do it. I remember the other thing. The uphill part, or half of the uphill part, if I do the lap this way, is this way, the way I'm doing it this time, instead of the first lap I did, is way more scenic. So when it's slow and difficult, the view is way better. So it takes the edge off that. It's nice. Another little tip there. All right, everybody. We're going to go for a 9-mile run, and it is hilly, and it's beautiful. And you have to guess where I'm at. It's awesome. Check out the scenery coming your way. So one thing I love about looping, lapping workouts, especially 3 laps. First lap is kind of hard, medium one you figure it out, and the third one is usually way easier, even though it's your last one, because like with here, I've figured out where to apply effort, where it's difficult, where it's not. Now I know what I'm getting into, and so my last lap I can really apply myself in the way that I want to wrap up the workout, the run and everything, in a really great way. And with running, you know, a 3 mile loop, even though it's really hilly and stuff, is still very doable. I'm not in over my head with doing just another 3 miles. That hill that was really something the first time now is like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know how hard to go. It's pretty great. If you need one more reason to run carrying hydration in your hand, like a bottle like this, making sure there's not somebody coming, a cyclist coming at 100 miles an hour, you know what I'm saying, is if you trip and fall, you've got padding in your hand. You put your hand down and you got squishy, and you don't think it really matters until you fall one time and you're holding a water bottle in your hand. And that hand's fine while your other hand is shredded. It's pretty fun. So the Zen-Tri training Bible, or whatever I'm going to call it, is so soon to be released. So excited. And this is the kind of stuff I talk about how to be portable and not get hung up on stuff. Then you can train anywhere, everywhere by effort. And it's a mix of mindset and then tactics and techniques and stuff that you've got to learn what works. And bouncy camera person. And that's all in the Zen-Tri training Bible. So there's a link to that coming. Gonna have some time to organize it this week. Very excited. One great thing about traveling is it exposes you to all different kinds of stuff and makes you realize things that you probably didn't know. And so these shoes definitely fit. I was worried they didn't fit. They're a little bit tight in the toes, like the toes tapping. But the issue was definitely the socks and the high volume of sweat where I live. And so my feet sliding forward in the slippery shoes as the sweat from the humidity. Look at that view. Wow. And yeah, so by traveling, I'm able to go, oh, something that I thought was true wasn't really true. It's something else other than I thought it was. Pretty cool. Because it's a lot cooler here than where I'm from. And a lot less humid than what I'm used to. So my shoes are not, my feet are not slipping around in my shoes because they're full of sweat and water. But it's also a good thing to know for when you do an Ironman or trail run, that, you know, when you're running, and if it's hilly with a lot of downhills, and they're wanting to spray you down with water, it's something to be careful of. Next thing you know, you're banging your toes into the end of your shoes because your feet are slipping in all that water. I just realized earlier when I was like, okay, if I totally wreck my legs and injure myself, at least I got these other sports. That's the bargaining phase of grief and loss and death. Okay, almost 9 miles. It's downhill from here. And what I'm doing is using the downhill to finish off my fuel and help me recover faster, finishing off my fluids. And the elevation gain is probably 5x what I'm used to. I'm just guessing. So check out the comments of the video or the description, and I'll put what the elevation gain actually was. and still with, let's just say 500% more than 5x, then still able to execute a pretty good run using wisdom and techniques passed on to me by others, and also just from experience of doing it. So, see y'all next run. Check out the video on YouTube. See y'all later. Bye.